that was kind of a downer. Right? That last part, you know, you're like going along, well, Lord, I love you, I love you, I love you. Worthless and lazy slaves. Outer darkness. Well, today we are in the second of 3 weeks, a trilogy really of the parables about the end times in Matthew, this parousia, end times talking that we're doing for 3 weeks. Now, last week we had be prepared for a longer than expected wait. If you recall, we had the 10 bridesmaids, and 5 were smart and had their oil, and 5 didn't have oil, so on. Remember that? Okay, good. Well, you're glad you were here. So, and I said, hey, what is your oil? What keeps you going? And for me, I said, well, mine were worship, right, and reconciliation and love. Those were the things that were my oil that keep me going until Christ returns. Now, next week we're going to get the third of these 3 parables. It's about the sheep and the goats, where they're divided, right? And it's all about the final judgment. And don't miss that one. If you thought today was a downer, wait till next week. Yeah, it stinks to be the goats, I can tell you that. Don't want to be the goat. But this week's question in the parable is, what are we supposed to do while we wait for Christ to return? What are we supposed to do? Now, the problem with waiting, nobody enjoys it. Do we? Anybody here enjoy waiting? No. We are not built for it. We don't like it. We're impatient, honestly, now more than ever. Don't you think? Right? Nobody enjoys waiting. We're not built for it. Our bodies, our biology, are built for movement. We're most comfortable when we're on our way there. We're not so comfortable. We're most comfortable because we were built for running toward things that we're trying to get away so we could kill them and eat them. That's what we're built for. And running away from things that are trying to catch us, to kill us and eat us. See? That's what we're built for. Running toward and away from. And we're just not, we're built for action, for problem solving, for fight or flight, not fight or rest. That's just not who we are. And we're not even sure in this case of the second coming of Jesus Christ what we're waiting for exactly. So we're half wanting it to happen, and we're half dreading that it will, you know. But Jesus said it. Jesus said, I'm coming back. And the church teaches Jesus is coming back. And we believe it. Jesus is coming back. So what should we do about it? This week we get this great parable that we don't always get because of the way the church year is structured. When Easter is early, like it was this year in March, we get these extra weeks at the end. Like when Easter is later, we would not get these parables. Well, when Easter is early, we do, because there's a couple of weeks we've got to fill in at the end. And so we don't always get this. Have you ever heard this parable before of the 3 slaves? And they get talents, 5 and the 2 and the 1, and the 1 hides it, right? Now, talent, of course, is a measure of money. And it's a lot of money. Like 1 talent is worth 15 to 20 years of the average worker's wages. So, if you got 5 talents, you get 75 years of your wage. In other words, all the money you've ever earned in your lifetime, that's 5 talents. So one guy, just take an average salary, one guy might have gotten $2.5 million. The other one got like $1 million. The other one got $500,000. Okay. So in this parable, who's the master in the parable? God, or Jesus, right? So God, Jesus, the master. Who are the slaves? Us. Yeah, okay. Who are the good slaves? The ones who get a return, right? The ones who bring back as much as they got. Yeah. Who are the bad slave? Who's the bad slave? The one who just buried it. He buried it because he was afraid. Interestingly enough, though, there's no evidence in the parable that the master was a mean master. He says it, but there's no evidence of it. I don't know what he was afraid of. But what are we supposed to learn from the parable? We're supposed to learn, whatever you are given, use it to serve God. Fair enough, right? Now, a typical sermon on this particular parable will say something like, listen, if you could sing, you've been given the gift of being able to sing, then sing for God, you know? Or dance, if you could dance, dance for God. Do your best dancing for God. Yes. Or if you're an encourager, encourage. If you're a tither, this is one we really like to stress. If you like to give money, give a lot for God, right? Or if you're a caregiver, give care. Or if you're an evangelist, go out and evangelize. We like that one too. Now, I think that kind of a sermon is not only boring, but wrong-headed. Because I think it equates our value with a return on investment. And I think that's wrong. Because our true value is in our belovedness, our createdness. The fact that you were created by God is your value. It has nothing to do with whether you can sing, dance, give, or encourage. You're supposed to do that stuff. But that's not why God loves you. That's not what makes you special and beloved of God. So when I think about, as I did this week, what does then make us beloved of God? What is this gift that we were given? I went to our Book of Common Prayer. Now, if you were with me last week as we dedicated the library, the Ray Whitney Library, you would have heard the beginning of a prayer that I wrote, but got part of it from our Eucharistic Prayer C, which is on page 370. You don't have to turn to it, I'll read it to you. But, we have 4 in Rite 2. We have 4 different Eucharistic prayers. We're doing A now for this long season, and we'll switch over in a little bit as we get into Advent. But we do this one for a while, too, and you may have heard it. It says, it's while we're consecrating the elements, and it says, at your command, all things came to be, to God, of course. The vast expanse of interstellar space, galaxies, suns, the planets in their courses, and this fragile earth, our island home. Is that not beautiful? And we respond to that by saying, by your will they were created and have their being. And then this, from the primal elements you brought forth the human race and blessed us with memory, reason, and skill. You made us rulers of creation, but we turned against you and betrayed your trust, and we turned against one another. Have mercy, Lord, for we are sinners in your sight. So this kernel in here just struck me. From the primal elements, you brought forth the human race and blessed us with memory, reason, and skill. And I would offer to you that what makes us, I think, great in the eyes of God is the gift that we were given, which is our memory, reason, and skill, our brains, if you will. We were given brains, all of us. We were given brains that are bigger than the mice and the elephants, the giraffes, the dogs, the cats, the chimpanzees, the dolphins, the whales. We were given brains. Better brains than anything else in all creation. And what do we use them for? Facebook. Yeah? Twitter. Trying to sell more triple bacon cheeseburgers with extra bacon sauce. This is what we use our brains for. To build cruise missiles and carbine rifles. To create Ponzi schemes and pass-through tax loopholes. For insane partisan politics. It's crazy what we're using our brains for. It is. Someone is telling you to hate someone else, and that person is telling other people to hate you, and it's insane. I was inspired to speak on this topic by a program that I listened to on the radio this week, where the person speaking was saying that he had gone online shortly after the shooting in Sutherland Springs, Texas, at the church a couple of weeks ago. And the point was he had gone online to see what the news was, and he had gone to YouTube to see what news was being posted there, to see if, NBC or, any real news, whatever. But here's, of the 10 things that came up first in the algorithm on YouTube, the 10 things that came up first, 6 of them, 60%, were things like this. The government did it. Somebody sitting in his basement was promoting the idea that our own government had shot our people for some insane reason. 6 of those YouTube videos of the top 10 that came up were that kind of conspiracy nonsense. And it just made me think, for goodness sakes, people, us, people, me, use your dang brains, right? We were given brains. Let's use them, right? That's my sermon title. Use your dang brain. If I had a big electronic sign that would have been out there all week, I wonder if you would have come to church. Use your dang brains, I would have said. What a gift we were given, you guys. What a gift. 75 years of wages, right? I'm saying that $2.5 million is nothing compared to the value of the brain, the memory, reason, and skill that God gave us when God called us from the primal elements. And I'm suggesting to you what Jesus is saying to us then and now is just use your dang brains. It is our memory, reason, and skill that have the potential to do so much more if we will just use them. So, remember this week and for this year that you have a brain and use it. It doesn't matter to me if you use it in politics or in your professional life or in your piety. I don't care. But stop letting other people think for you. Will you do that? Do the hard work of learning. Do the hard work of living. Jesus is coming back someday, and we don't know when. I don't know when. Could be tomorrow, right? And while we wait for Jesus to come back, I suggest that we are called to use our greatest gift to apply our minds to the great problems of the world, which are solvable if we will learn to love and think. I would hate for Jesus to come back and look around and say, geez, you guys, I gave you the greatest gift of all the biggest brains, and I thought you would figure it out. And you did Snapchat.